Hey everyone, I'm sorry that I haven't been putting up videos lately. I've been out of town for a few days and I've been fairly busy here up to the Easter vacation. But things have now settled down and that's why I'm releasing another video. In my two last gameplay videos I got some critiques since people would rather want to hear commentaries than music, so that's what I'm making up for, and I'm just gonna be commentating from now on, probably. And today's commentary will be about the PvP in Diablo 3. As some of you, or most of you may know, they delayed the PvP, so we won't be able to PvP straight from release, but hopefully they'll implement it not too late after the actual release. But nonetheless, there's a fairly lot of info on the interwebs, and I myself is fairly interested in PvP, and I'm gonna do a lot of it probably. But anyways, back on the subject, PvP in Diablo 3. From what I've read about it and seen, it looks awesome. The whole PvP in Diablo is based around arenas, and every World of Warcraft veteran or anyone who played World of Warcraft at a higher level would know what arenas are. For everyone who haven't done that, arenas is basically tiny maps where you in teams fight opposing teams to the death. This will happen in 2 versus 2 teams and 3 versus 3 teams at the moment only, and I think Blizzard will focus on 3 versus 3 teams mainly due to all the setups available and not just having 1 or 2 setups which rule everything else like they had problems with before in World of Warcraft as an example. So I think you'll achieve all your achievements and titles and whatever rewards PvP will have. You'll achieve those by doing 3 versus 3, at least for now. The PvP in Diablo 3 is fairly different from what it used to be, and still is obviously, in Diablo 2. Seeing as in Diablo 2 you can simply just join a game, hostile everyone, and your PvP begun. In Diablo 3, however, you have completely separate sections for PvP and PvM, which is player versus monster. So you won't be able to just enter a game, hostile everyone, and start dueling. But they will still have modes for both practicing and 1 versus 1, at least that's what they stated at this point. As you can hear in this point already, Diablo 3 is gonna have a way more advanced and way better build up PvP system than Diablo 2 had, since Diablo 2 had a huge dueling community, but it wasn't really that organized and there was no in-game support for it. You could simply go in, hostile everyone, and duel, but there's no ladders, no teams, no rankings, nor any structure to it. It was simply dueling on a very basic level. I personally think that this is a great idea and a great way of dealing with PvP in the new Diablo, since it just seems so much more organized, so much more balanced, and so much more fun, seeing as it gets competitive and there's actually gotta be ladders and rankings that you can achieve, and hopefully there'll be some esport as well now, seeing as they'll have all of this involved, since it definitely sounds like it has the potential of becoming a huge game in both PvE and PvP, certainly. The arenas itself is gonna be built up as a very small map with different obstacles that you can hide behind, like pillars, random holes in the ground, etc. Stuff like that. Apart from that, there'll be more or less health orbs spawning in the arena, most likely around the center, at least that's what they released for now, so that people can regain their health if they don't have a healing ability available, by walking over these health orbs, and they'll then restore a certain amount of health. From the footage I've seen of the PvP in Diablo 3 at BlizzCon 2010, arenas seem like a very dynamic way of playing. Basically, you play for 15 minutes, and the game is basically about scoring as many victories as possible within those 15 minutes. Each game takes around 40 seconds to a minute, at least that's what they did at BlizzCon. It might be more once people get to know their class and plays it for a longer time and master all of the abilities available. But at BlizzCon, each game was fairly quick over with. And if this carries on to when it's released, games will probably end with a score of 10-7, 10-8, 11-8, something like that for each match. Hopefully, in my opinion, they won't last much longer, since if there's one thing I hated and still hate in World of Warcraft, it's the endless matches that sometimes come up, at least in 2 vs 2, where you actually have to play for 45 minutes and get a draw out of it and not obtain any rating whatsoever. Because of your setup simply couldn't kill their setup, and their setup simply couldn't kill your setup. So it was a balance issue, and hopefully they won't have the same problems in Diablo 3. But we'll simply have to wait and see what happens once the game gets released and experience it for ourselves. The biggest question though at this point is whether or not the people that plays hardcore, if their characters are gonna die permanently when they die in an arena match. And in my opinion, in a rated arena match, they should be able to die permanently, since that's what hardcore players are for and what they're all about. But there should also be practice matches where you couldn't die but just practice your PvP, so that you won't get in and just get slaughtered completely and see your character go to waste. But well, this is still being heavily discussed, both on the forums and probably by Blizzard as well, so we'll just have to wait and see for some notes earlier to the release, and we'll be able to judge on it then. The last thing I'm gonna talk about in this video is the rewards for PvP. Seeing as Diablo is still mainly a PvM game, that means you're gonna get all of your gear, you're gonna get your levels, anything like that, you're gonna get it from killing monsters and bosses basically. So PvP is merely a way to entertain yourself, and you'll only obtain achievements and titles from it. I personally don't mind that, since I am a complete achievement whore, if I have to say so myself, and I just can't wait to get in and get all of the titles and all of the achievements from PvP and PvM, so I'm all fine with that. As long as it's badass looking titles and not just a lousy one like Slay or anything like that. So hopefully they'll be creative and everything's cool in my opinion. That's all for now. Thanks a lot for watching this endless ramble, and hopefully enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to like the video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you, and take care, man.